Yo, what is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Samora, back at it again with another pregame preview between our Las Vegas Raiders and the Tennessee Titans, who's coming to town this weekend. Well, they're going to be in town tomorrow, and I'm going to be there in the building at Allegiant Stadium and hoping that the Raiders can finally get back into that win column. It's been 4 straight weeks since we've seen a win, so it's been really tough and really stressful to be a Raider fan right now. But I don't think that all hope is lost. With last week being a horrible showing by this team, like it just seemed like everything that could go wrong actually went wrong, to now coming to a new week with some new hope and maybe a little bit of optimism that this team could finally just turn things around. Because if we can't, it's gonna be a long season. But before we get started with this video, if this is the very first time you guys have come across this channel and you love Raiders content just like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. Now, that being said, we can't start no pregame preview without giving you some Nation news that you can use. First things first, of course, tight end Brock Bowers has been ruled out of this weekend's matchup against the Titans, missing back-to-back games due to a knee injury. But I guess on the flip side, tight end Michael Mayer will actually be playing this weekend after being medically cleared from a concussion. I feel like at this point, I know it sucks to have Brock Bowers out and he's our best tight end, but we want him at 100%, so take all the time that you need to finally come back. And hopefully by the time that Brock Bowers comes back, this Raiders team is actually competitive. Now, in some other news, I've seen a report out there. I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't know where the sources have come from. Maybe I shouldn't even be talking about this, but I just wanted to talk about it real quick. There's reports saying that Max Crosby allegedly held a players-only meeting this morning before practice, demanding every player to do better going forward, starting this Sunday at home versus the Titans. He's reportedly going to do this every Friday morning from now on. Now, whether this is true or not, I think that this is a good thing, not only for the players, but for the team's camaraderie moving forward. Somebody's got to do it. Why not start with the leader of this team? Because the way we've been playing these past couple of weeks just ain't cutting it. And we'll see on Sunday whether this works or not. Now, last bit of news. According to Jeremy Fowler, it seems like Jakobi Meyers might be the next wide receiver to get traded, saying that one other receiver from a struggling team to watch could be Jakobi Meyers. The Raiders and Meyers couldn't reach a deal before week 1 despite his trade request, and with the Raiders sitting at 1-4, interest in the player could tick upward. Now, I'll harp on Jakobi Meyers a little bit later on in this video, but it is definitely interesting to see this kind of pop up. I don't think it's that big of a surprise knowing that the Raiders didn't pay him that money, but seeing the Raiders not even involving him in the game these past couple of weeks is really interesting to see. And as of right now, it just proves that, hey, maybe it's a smart decision not to give him all that money. But what do you guys think, Raider Nation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Should the Raiders look to trade Jakobi Meyers or keep him on this team? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That being said, before we dive deeper into some of the biggest storylines and even some players I'm looking forward to watching in this game, I want to talk about my bookie. Because if there's anything that we've learned from this season, is that this season has been unpredictable. Whether you're betting on the Raiders to bounce back this week against the Titans, taking a wild parlay, or just testing your football knowledge, MyBookie makes it easy to get in on the action. And the best part is that they got everything from the NFL to college football, live lines, super contests, and more, all in one spot. All right, so we're gonna dive into it right now. Of course, we gotta go over the Raiders-Titans game. The Raiders right now are actually the favorites to win this game, and that's who I'm gonna go with. Over, under 41.5 points. I think we could do the over for both teams, the over on that. And then the first player that I feel like can score a touchdown for both teams, I'm pretty confident that Ashton Jeanty should get the very first touchdown. Now I want to go into some of the quarterback props right now, especially with Geno Smith. How many passing touchdowns do I believe that Geno Smith can get in this game? I know that he's been struggling, but I'm looking forward to a bounce back game from Geno Smith. So if I had to choose, I got him at 2+. 2+ touchdowns in this game. As far as Cam Ward, I could give him 1. I could give him 1 on that one. As far as passing yards, 223 yards, hey, we're going to take the over on that as well. I mean, the possibilities are endless, Raider Nation. So if you're new to MyBookie, use my promo code Samoan, and any bet that you place up to $500 is fully covered when you opt in for your bet back bonus token. So put your football knowledge to test and head over to MyBookie today, where you bet, you win, and you get paid. That being said, let's get on to the biggest storylines going into this game. Storyline number one is momentum versus desperation mode. Now, like I said before, the Raiders have been struggling so far this year, losing 4 straight games. We're sitting at 1-4, and I know the Titans are sitting at 1-4, but the biggest difference is the Titans are coming off of a win, and like I said, the Raiders are coming off of 4 straight losses. So I look at this matchup as a must-win game for the Raiders if they want to keep any type of momentum or even playoff hopes. I know we're talking about playoffs, which is not really realistic, but we don't want this season to go downhill from here. We need to do something to bounce back, and this is a winnable game for the Raiders against the Titans. Now, I know that winnable games are not always winnable for this team, but just on paper, looking at it, we should be able to come out of this game with a W. If the Raiders end up 1-5 after this week, it's going to be really tough to climb ourselves out of this hole. Storyline number 2 is protection against Jeffrey Simmons. Now, I know that the Titans defense isn't really the best in the NFL. They've struggled so far this season, but one guy to really keep an eye on is definitely defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. He's been on a tear so far this season, and he's their best defensive lineman. And if the offensive line wants to do a good job in keeping Geno Smith safe, it starts with blocking Jeffrey Simmons and not letting him become a factor in this game. Not only do the Raiders need to protect Geno Smith and keep him upright, they also have to open up holes in the run game for Ashton Jeanty and even Raheem Mostert. Last week against the Arizona Cardinals, Jeffrey Simmons came away with 8 total tackles, a tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 1.5 sacks, and so far this season, he has 3.5 sacks. So if we want any chance of having any kind of momentum or even winning this game, it starts with protecting the quarterback against Jeffrey Simmons. Storyline number 3 is get to Cam Ward. Now, Cam Ward so far this season has been sacked 19 times. That's huge. And looking at that number, I mean, I feel like our defense is salivating at this point, wanting to get to him. And I feel like this is a good opportunity for this defensive line to come alive. We've seen Tyree Wilson get to the quarterback last week. We've seen Max Crosby multiple times this year, as well as the rest of this defensive line have their spurts and moments. But we got to put it all together in this game against an offensive line and against a quarterback who's just getting started and just getting acclimated with the NFL. So I look at this game as a huge opportunity to get to Cam Ward. And like I said yesterday, one of the biggest keys was to apply that pressure. And if we can apply that pressure to a rookie quarterback, he'll be prone to making some mistakes, which we could capitalize off of. That said, though, last week, the Arizona Cardinals didn't even get to Cam Ward, not once. The Titans actually held up, allowing no sacks. Now, that's not the type of game that I want to see from the defensive line, but anything can happen, and hopefully we get to see a lot of sacks out there. Pause. And the last bit of storyline is the turnover problem. I feel like that's been the theme for this team, especially our quarterback, is the turnovers that we continue to have every single game, especially the ones that just bite us in the ass and ends up costing us the victory. You start with the fumbles all the way to the 9 interceptions that Geno Smith has thrown this season. And of course, a lot of people can dissect all of those interceptions and look at how Geno Smith has been playing, but we cannot give the Titans any type of opportunities or great field position off of those turnovers that we have. This continues to be an ongoing problem for this team, and that's something that we have to clean up. I talk about it every single week, but we always end up turning the ball over some way, somehow. And all of this starts with Geno Smith. Now let's look at some of the players to watch in this game. Number 1, Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, JPJ has been one of our better offensive linemen, especially with Colton Miller going down, but he has a huge task ahead of him against Jeffrey Simmons, who I just alluded to earlier. Playing at the defensive tackle position, JPJ has his work cut out for him, but I expect and I have a lot of confidence in JPJ to do his job against a guy that I know is tearing it up so far this season. Now, the next player to watch in this game is Jakobi Meyers. Now, Jakobi Meyers is on paper our best wide receiver right now, but it seems like we haven't been utilizing him a lot. Now, I know that he leads this team in receptions with 25, but we got to get him more involved in the game. We got to get the passing game in general more involved, especially without Brock Bowers in this game. I want to see more out of Jakobi Meyers, and the way he's been playing right now, it's totally understandable why the Raiders didn't give him the money that he wanted. But I know that Jakobi Meyers is better than how he's been playing this year. Geno Smith has held the ball longer than most quarterbacks in the league, so he has got to find his read. He's got to find his guy. Not stare them down, but find the open receiver and find Meyers wherever you can. Get him in the end zone. He doesn't have any touchdowns this season, so I want to see Jakobi Meyers get more involved in this game. Now, the next player to watch is Ashton Jeanty. Of course, Ashton Jeanty, our #1 pick in this year's draft. He's going into a huge matchup this week against a favorable defensive line and run defense that has struggled this year, 30th ranked in the NFL. I mean, looking at that, you would think that Ashton Jeanty will ball out in this game, which I really do expect. Since changing his stance, Ashton Jeanty has been a whole new running back. It seems like he's been revitalized out there so far this year. He's leading all rookie rushes with 349 yards and 4 touchdowns. I feel like he's gonna start eating even more in this game. That said, that leads to the last player that I want to talk about in this video that I'm really watching in this game, and it continues to be our quarterback, Geno Smith. Geno Smith has struggled so far this year. There's been a lot of expectations. I had expectations for him, but he's thrown 9 interceptions so far, and in the 2 home games that he's played so far in Las Vegas, he has 3 interceptions each game. We need better execution out of Geno Smith. We need better play. He knows it. The coaches know it. The Raider fans know it. Heck, everybody has picket signs right now going at Geno Smith. So he has got to play a much better game. I feel like his future depends on it. Because if he continues to struggle like he has in the past couple of games, the question has to be, will the Raiders bench him, and should they bench him? Which I think they should. Maybe we look at Kenny Pickett. Maybe we look at trading for another quarterback. But all of that rides off of this game. A winnable matchup, a favorable matchup. So if he can't get it done against the Titans, then we got to go in a different direction. All right, Raider Nation, how do you guys feel about this game? Do you guys have any confidence in the Raiders coming out? I know that we're favored in this game. For the very first time this year, we're favored in something. But we still have to see this team go out there and execute. I'm going to be at the game. I'm going to be at the Raider Masquerade. If you guys are going to be at the game and want to come and hang out, come through to the Raider Masquerade. Use our promo code RaiderVerse10 for 10% off of your order. It's going to be a fun time, like always. Win or lose, I'll always be at the games here at home and supporting this team no matter what. Until the next video, this your boy Samuel Raider, and your boy is, yeah.